What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So yesterday there was a lot of talk back and forth around Game Pass and the effect that the service currently has on sales for the Xbox. This after a statement from the CEO at People Can Fly around royalties and profits for Outriders, which we're going to go over all of that here today and what exactly is going on there. Also, we're going to be talking about a new game that was announced for Nintendo Switch Online that I guess in Nintendo's eyes adds value to it, at least for about a week. And we're also going to be talking about Game Pass once again, as more games are heading to the service, different things you can look forward to over the next few weeks. Guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if new here to the Spawnwave channel, make sure you subscribe down below and ring that notification bell so you can keep up to date with all the uploads here on the channel. And we're going to start today with that Pokemon Presents that's coming up here about an hour after this video goes live, because people did notice that the runtime for this Pokemon Presents is a bit longer than I guess we were expecting, because it's longer than any of the other previous Pokemon Presents. In fact, Nintendo Life even kind of drew up a comparison here, which you can see ever since they started rebranded it to Pokemon Presents, started calling it that. We've had last year in June, we had two different presentations, 11 minutes each. Then earlier this year in February, we had one at 20 minutes each. Then if you go back all the way to like 2013, we've had really no presentation go beyond 21 minutes. This one this morning will be 28 minutes long, and I have to assume a lot of this has to do with Pokemon Arceus. I think a good chunk of this, possibly the back second half of it, because I think they'll start with a few things like Diamond, Pearl, and maybe another game that they're going to be releasing here, or who knows, maybe they talk about Pokemon Sleep finally, and then to kind of wrap things up, they'll spend a good chunk of it just going over Pokemon Arceus and what they have for us there. So exciting stuff, ready to see all about, I guess, this new open world Pokemon game. Also, we had a pretty cool video from MVG that happened beginning of this week, and it picked up a lot of steam online. A lot of people were reporting on it, and it was funny because it had to do with PlayStation 1 games being played in 4K, and you think, wow, that's cool, the PlayStation can do that. No, the Xbox can do that. That's right. This going back to that developer mode that you can enter with your Xbox Series system that's able to play GameCube games and Wii games and all kinds of stuff. Well, now we have a new emulator called DuckStation that MVG spent some time showing off, where it can actually take the game and put it into 4K and even move the frame rate up, so you have a very good looking PS1 game that actually runs really well. And it's pretty funny because even that Xbox Series S seems to run a lot of these PS1 games just fine. So, you know, I'm actually going to check this emulator out called DuckStation myself, and maybe even try it out on that Xbox Series X that I have in developer mode, where I was playing GameCube games and stuff. Why not try out some PS1 games, see them in a whole new light here at 4K 60. Oh, and we did have our first flight for Halo Infinite, where we pretty much just played against bots the entire time. I think for like 30 minutes they turned on actual PvP. We were playing other players there. But something odd happened where people were noticing that it appeared the bots were evolving and adapting online, and they would start teabagging players that they killed in battle. There were videos of it going viral online. Well, it looks like 343 is saying, no, they weren't taunting you. It was actually a glitch. This is what they had said to Kotaku in a statement. We don't have any explicit programming that tells the bots to teabag or taunt you in any way. These bots are meant to be welcoming and fun for players of all skill levels, and a feature designed to taunt a player would oppose that goal. Go on further to say, if that happened to be observed shortly after a kill or near a player's body, it can definitely feel like an intentional behavior. In reality, the bot was just struggling to go up the stairs. Sounds like they're covering for the bots. I mean, honestly, you put these bots online, and let's face it, they were getting better and better as we went along, and a lot of it was to collect data. They're going to pick up some bad habits along the way, like taunting and teabagging some of the people that they threw the miracle grenade at, and it happened to kill them. And guys, with some of the quick news out of the way, let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Outriders and this weird situation with People Can Fly and Square Enix. See, it appears, according to the CEO at People Can Fly, who released a statement to investors, the way that they will make money in royalties from this game is they'll collect it on profit that Square Enix reports around it, and I guess Square is tracking all of that. But what's odd here is they have not received any royalty payments for Outriders, which is leading People Can Fly to believe that the game is not profitable yet at all, despite a pretty big launch for a game that a lot of people are writing off ahead of its release date. This from the CEO of People Can Fly saying, "We do not have any sales figures for Outriders. We estimate sales to be between 2 and 3 million copies, and we assumed that this This result would make the project profitable already in the first quarter of sales. The lack of payment from the publisher probably means that, in Square Enix's opinion, that this is not the case after all. The CEO went on to speculate that the reason for the lack of royalty payments could be due to elements of Square Enix's sales agreements, and appeared to point to its day one deal for Xbox Game Pass as one possible explanation. It's possible that executive could be alluding to payment schedules for the agreement, or how Square Enix allocates revenue for the deal if it's related to multiple projects. They go on to say the lack of royalty payment may have been determined by some elements of Square Enix's sales policy, the details of which we do not know, such as partnerships concluded by the publisher with distribution platforms or entities offering the Outriders game as an add-on to their products. Now, the whole thing around the Game Pass conversation that's come up online is strange because Square seemed to praise the launch. You can see here an article from June where it says Square Enix is pleasantly surprised with digital sales of RPG third-person shooters Outriders, and cites Game Pass as a reason for its success. If you remember, Outriders got hit hard on release, and it appeared that a lot of people were indeed trying the game through Game Pass and sticking around, giving a game that does rely on active users because, yeah, it is a live service. We have to be online to play it. A pretty large player base. They did run into a lot of issues where inventory was being completely deleted, and there were a lot of disconnect problems there as they were struggling to maintain the server load that they were undergoing there. And there have been a lot of people pointing out the fact that they're relying on their publisher Square to decide if the game is profitable or not, i.e. decide if they need to pay People Can Fly out royalties, and Square has had an interesting, we'll say, history of figuring out if these games are profitable. For example, you can see here over on Twitter, this from Ethan, where they pointed out several different articles around Square's previous projects, like Marvel Avengers still hasn't turned a profit since it released, Square Enix disappointed by sales of Tomb Raider, wants to maximize profits during development, and then even Hitman games on hold after Square Enix drops developer IO Interactive. But then Hitman 3 is released by IO without Square, and Hitman 3 earns all its money back in just 1 week. So while the conversation appears to be, is Game Pass hurting Outriders to the point where it's not being profitable, the conversation should be, why doesn't People Can Fly know how many copies have sold and decide with Square if the game is profitable? Like, if you're Square and you're in the business of making as much money as possible, and you can deem that, oh, the marketing budget, you know what, it was this much, and then, oh, the development costs, it was really this much, and well, yeah, I mean, it's not profitable yet, so we don't have to pay you guys money. That seems like a massive communication issue there, and a lot of trust being put into the publisher who's going to decide if you start getting those royalty payments. Now, could Game Pass be affecting the sales? I mean, sure, it could, but we also don't know the deal that was in place with Microsoft and Square, because we know money exchanged hands there. Microsoft paid to have Outriders put in Game Pass. Not like Square was like, oh, that's a great idea, let's just drop it in the Game Pass for nothing. No. So they could also be allocating that as, okay, this technically wasn't games sold, so we're gonna kind of put this money off to the side, and then if Outriders can sell enough on the Xbox while being on Game Pass, we'll include that into the whole profitability side of things, and we'll decide if People Can Fly should be paid off of that kind of money. That's the biggest problem we have right now. We're missing a lot of information, and even the CEO, People Can Fly, are saying that they are assuming a lot of this info. So, I mean, we'll see as we go along here, because we had Outriders release several months ago, and I'm assuming that eventually Square is going to have more information around sales for Outriders, and then we can determine if Game Pass really did affect it overall to the point where there's no money left to be paid in royalties from profits for People Can Fly. As for me, kind of looking in from the outside here, I think Game Pass makes the most sense for smaller indie developers, considering we'll hear stories about how indie developers are going to the Epic Game Store, where they'll take a large amount of money up front, and according to them, it'll just cover all of their costs that they had in development over several years, and they become profitable immediately just doing that. So I would assume Game Pass has a similar effect for smaller titles, and we've heard EA say, oh, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, or Take-Two even, like their CEO say, you know, we could put GTA 6, just as an example, in the Game Pass day one, but we're gonna make a lot more money selling it outside of Game Pass. And I completely understand that one, because GTA 6, like the entire internet is gonna explode when that game finally gets announced, let alone released. So for smaller indie titles, I think Game Pass makes a ton of sense, and I feel like for these larger AAA games from third parties, it's not Microsoft first-party games, it's going to be a case-by-case basis. But we certainly need more information around Outriders as to if Game Pass actually negatively affected sales for it to that degree where they wouldn't get money. Next up, let's talk about a game that is heading to Nintendo Switch Online, where Nintendo will do these game trials like Mario Tennis Aces. As an example, they also did it with Crash Team Racing, and now it looks like the next one up is Minecraft Dungeons. We can see that here. The article over on Nintendo Life saying Minecraft Dungeons is your next Nintendo Switch Online trial. Now, this was first announced, I believe, Nintendo Japan, then Nintendo Europe, and then finally Nintendo America confirmed as well. And that will be going live today. That's 10 a.m. Pacific or 1 p.m. Eastern time. And it makes sense for Minecraft Dungeons because Minecraft on the Switch is extremely popular. If you've been around here, we go through the different sales charts and we always come up to Minecraft and it's like Minecraft parentheses Switch, and it's always in like the top 10 in Japan. That's apparently what it looks like Microsoft's only 1 million unit seller as a game publisher in Japan, and it's on the Switch with Minecraft. So Minecraft Dungeons being part of this game trial where it'll just be available to download for a week on the service, that makes sense. My thing here is I don't think these game trials are really that much in terms of value overall, as Nintendo is trying to be like, oh, here's the big update for Nintendo Switch Online. You can play Minecraft Dungeons for a week. It's nice because you can just download it and try it out, but I feel like this is another half step from Nintendo because we'll see what Games with Gold, which hasn't been great recently, although I guess this past month is much better. But like that and PlayStation Plus, and I know those services are 3 times as much as what Nintendo service is, and Nintendo does have a large library of Nintendo and Super Nintendo games, but I know now a lot of people are looking towards that and saying, we want Nintendo 64 or we want Game Boy. It just seems strange to me that Nintendo doesn't just go back and say, you know what, let's grab a Switch title that we released, a first-party game from like when the system first came out or its first year. Maybe they could drop ARMS on the Switch. I don't really know a lot of people who are still buying ARMS like that, and we don't really even see it in Nintendo's own financial reports. So maybe they could try a first-party title that they have all the rights to and just drop it on Nintendo Switch Online as a permanent edition rather than just like do these weird trial things. But either way, if you have not tried Minecraft Dungeons, it's a pretty fun game, especially if you're a Minecraft fan, and it's just going to be available to download over the next week, so you might as well check it out. Next up, let's talk about some new additions heading to Xbox Game Pass over the next couple of weeks, and we'll take a look at the card that they put up over on news.xbox.com, kind of going over all of the releases here, and we'll start with games that are available right now. That's starting with Humankind on the PC. Then we have Need for Speed Heat through the cloud. That is on EA Play, along with Star Wars Battlefront 2 and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, all of which you can play through xCloud on your phone or on your PC via the browser. Moving up here to August 19th, we have Recompile, that's cloud console, Xbox Series X and S only, so that won't be available for Xbox One and PC. And then we have Train Sim World 2, that's cloud console and PC. 12 minutes, which I've seen a lot of people talk about this game, and I am going to check this one out. I mean, it's launching day 1 into Game Pass, so that'd be pretty cool there. It's cloud console and PC. Moving up to August 25th, a game that I am really looking forward to finally getting a chance to play, that being Psychonauts 2, cloud console and PC. I know that is already available to preload, so if you're looking forward to it and you have Game Pass, might as well go on there and get that preloaded now. And then moving up to August 26th, we have Myst. Yeah, I was a little surprised to see this one. Kind of interesting there. Cloud console and PC. Now, they also announced that several games will be getting touch controls. They laid out 10 different games here, that being Hades, Bloodroots, Farming Simulator 19, Going Under, Need for Speed Heat, Peggle 2, Psychonauts, that being the first one on the original Xbox, Wasteland 2, Wasteland 3, and then Wasteland Remastered. So if you want to try those out on your phone via the cloud, you can do that now without the need for a controller. And then there are also a couple of games that will be leaving as of August 31st. That Blair Witch, that's cloud console and PC, Double Kick Heroes, cloud console and PC, NBA 2K21, cloud and console, and then Stranger Things 3, the game, cloud console and PC. Overall, though, some pretty good additions here over the course of the next week or so, and I'm really looking forward to Psychonauts 2. It's been a while. I played the original Psychonauts way back in the day when it was released on the original Xbox, and even Game Tap on the PC, if any of you remember that one. And then 12 minutes looks interesting enough to download. I guess that's the nice thing about Game Pass. You don't have to sit there and be like, is it worth buying? Well, it's probably worth hitting the download button just to try out. So exciting stuff here over the next couple of weeks. And in our last bit of news, let's quickly go over an Xbox sale that is going on right now on the Microsoft Store. And we've gone over PlayStation sales and Nintendo sales, so I figure, hey, let's round things out here and take a look at the Xbox Store, starting with Scarlet Nexus. That's right, it's already on sale, about 40% off, and you can pick it up for $36. And there have been a lot of talks around sales for Scarlet Nexus maybe not being the best, but I mean, there it is on sale now, so probably a good chance to pick it up here. Forza Motorsport 7, the reason I'm pointing this one out, it's $10, but remember, it will be delisted here pretty soon, so $10 might be worth picking up just so you still have access to it years from now. Project Cars 3, which I did enjoy quite a bit, at $29. Mafia 2 Definitive Edition at $10. Crash Team Racing at $16. The Surge 2 at $13. And we do also have a couple of Xbox 360 games on sale. I picked two of them, that being Ikaruga, which is an absolute classic, at $5, and just kind of some fun here. I picked out Stuntman Ignition at $4. Now, there's still a bunch of other games that they have listed on sale. Like I said, I just went through and picked a few out, but I was pretty surprised to see Scarlet Nexus already marked down there to $36. And I've also noticed on like Amazon and a few other places, the physical copy has been marked down into like $44 or $45. And yeah, like I said, I know it doesn't appear like the sales have been off the chart for it or anything like that. In fact, it's actually disappearing off of some of these sales charts, but I still think Scarlet Nexus is worth a look, especially if you were curious about it, but you weren't sure about that full price $60. Well, now it's nearly half off. Certainly a good time to pick it up. And before we go to the comment of the day, we're taking a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday, where I asked, are you picking up Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and or Shining Pearl this holiday on the Switch? 13% said, yes, I'm picking up both. 21% said, yes, I'm picking up Diamond, and 9% said, yes, I'm picking up Pearl. 58% said, no, I'm passing on them for now, which Pokemon Arceus is literally like 2 months later, and I feel like a lot of people are hoping that this presentation coming up here very, very soon is going to wow them with an open world Pokemon game that they've really been hoping for a long time. Now, you know, I was kind of surprised to see Diamond is the popular one, huh? I mean, I was trying to figure out which one I should get, Diamond or Pearl. I think back in the day, I feel like I had Pearl. So maybe I'll check out Diamond, although that is the one that everyone seems to be picking up here, at least in this poll. So I don't know, maybe I'll go to Pearl. I'll decide when I get to the register though, but let me know down below which one I should pick up. And we'll finish up with a comment of the day, as you're seeing here. This is from VR saying, do you think Dying Light 2 will do well? I feel like the sales will be good for Dying Light 2. It's coming out like right at the beginning of December. I don't think that's going to negatively impact sales around this game. The part that I'm concerned about is that it has a buggy or just a glitchy launch. Kind of like Cyberpunk, but maybe not that extreme, because it does appear that it's been delayed several times now because they still had a lot of work to do on it, and it became a very ambitious project. And when I start to hear talk like that, I do get concerned that we could be heading towards a release similar to Cyberpunk. So I feel like if they get this game out relatively smoothly, there'll still be some bugs found, and, you know, they'll have to do some patches. But if it gets out there and it's pretty good overall, stable and all of this, nothing game-breaking, yeah, I think Dying Light 2 will do very well as we head towards the holiday season and even into next year, because I'm sure they will have plenty of DLC and other things to look forward to there based on what they did with the first Dying Light. And ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, hit that like button, really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about here today. Where's this Game Pass Outriders situation? Do you think it's weird that People Can Fly have no idea how much this game has sold, and they're relying on Square to tell them if it's profitable or not, so then Square can pay them money? Let me know about that. And then also, what about this whole thing around Nintendo Switch Online with Minecraft Dungeons heading there as another game trial? Do you think Nintendo should go a bit further with this, get an older first-party title for the Switch, and just drop it on there indefinitely? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.